Charisma Quotient. I'm your host, Kim Seltzer, a dating and makeover expert, where I will help you build confidence, make connections, and find love from the outside in. I remember there was a time when there were no cell phones, no social media, no dating apps. All there were, well, people. And that was the only way to meet someone, to say hello to someone in a coffee shop, to walk next door to a house party and be introduced to friends, to occasionally have a friend say to you, "Oh, I want to introduce you to my friend who I think you'll really like." And they eventually actually do the introduction. And then, if you liked someone, you would give them your number on a piece of paper, provided someone had a pen, and then you'd have to wait for them to ring your house phone or pick up that heavy dial on the traditional landline phones and dial the 7 numbers around with your index finger. Without the ease of dating apps or just sliding into someone's DMs, dating was a purely face to face endeavor from start to finish, with a few phone calls here and there, and eventually some emails in between. Now, some of you listening to this have no idea what I'm talking about and can't remember those times because you're too young. And if you are of age, I'm maybe bringing back some memories. And I'm sure a lot of you do and have those faint memories. It seems like everyone I talk to these days, no matter how old you are, wish it could go back to the simple days like that. You have developed dating app fatigue in recent years, which makes sense. And the incessant swiping, the inability to know what a person is like from a few photos or the 2D form, in a photograph or on Zoom, and some contrived words on a screen. I mean, you are literally numbing out and not really connecting with humans. The fact that chemistry is a physical phenomena, it's like a hand brushing on your leg or them leaning over to light your smoke back in the days, that sort of thing. Meeting people in real life once and then dating them. The thing is, meeting people offline doesn't come easily to everyone, and neither does flirting. And if it did come easy, maybe you feel rusty and you don't even remember those times that you did. And especially if you are dating in the second act and you're trying to navigate the modern landscape in a whole different era of your life, no one knows where to go, how to be, and what to do. So I wanted to create an episode on this very topic to put some energy around how to have those meet cute moments in real life, IRL, as we say, without dating apps or DM slides. I have countless stories of people meeting in the wild, so to speak, but one in particular I tell a lot, and I just want to highlight because it speaks to exactly what we're talking about today, is a client that I worked with years ago. She was a doctor, high achiever, still is a doctor, I believe, and someone who was totally in her head, a little more of an introvert by nature. And she definitely did not feel comfortable meeting people in the wild. She was relying on the dating apps. But then, even when she would have a date, she would get to the date and she would be very stiff. It felt like a Q&A session. It ended up being like an interview. And in the end, neither party felt any kind of chemistry whatsoever. So she came and did an intensive with me. And of course, we went out to flirt. And eventually, she did one of my retreats as well. And the thing about this story, it was really funny, is, she was very scared to even just talk to strangers, and she thought it was like a weird concept. So I was just teaching her how to navigate a room and understanding my social engagement formula and how to get out of your head and get into something that's more personal and storytelling. And we began at a bar, as I always do. And whether you drink or not, like, to me, it's not about the drink or the bar. It's about the setting in which you can talk to people. And it's just a great setting, especially if you find the right venue. And so she wanted me to go first, and I talked to a couple of dudes, and it was no problem, and it was great. And she just kind of sat there with her popcorn box and watched. And then it was her turn. And I said to her, the next person that comes here and next to you, I want you to initiate. And so a guy sits down and he's like 20 years her senior. He's a bigger guy and the perfect trifecta. He's married. He had a ring on his finger. And she turns to me and looks at me and she's like, Kimmy, there is no way. Like, he's not a good person to practice on. I said, why? He's perfect. I'm going to go to the bathroom. And when I come back, I expect that you're having a conversation. Well, she knew the drill, and that's why she was there. And this is the beauty about hiring a coach because you may know that you have to do something like that, but unless there's someone holding you accountable, most likely you're not going to do it, especially if you don't do it. So I get back and she is in full conversation. Now, the thing about this guy, as we were talking to him, he was lovely. He was from New Zealand. He had this like jovial kind of personality and awesome accent. And he proceeded to tell us a story about how he met his wife. And he's showing us pictures, and now we're having a great time. And my client realized the power of just connection. And in the middle of the conversation, he said, by any chance, are you single to my client? And she's like, I am. And he's like, oh, good. I was hoping you'd say that. I have a friend in town and I really think that you might hit it off. And I say, well, where is he? Bring him out. He's like, I think I will. So he texts him. He couldn't come out at that moment. So we exchanged numbers and we said, all right, let's meet up later. So we end up, by the end of the night, I have to say, turned her into a monster, as I always say. And we were flirting up a storm and we were at this other hotel lobby where we were just surrounded by men. And now she's getting really comfortable talking. And in walks the married New Zealand guy with his friend who's drop dead gorgeous and her age. And they start talking. And because she was exercising her flirt and social muscle the entire day, she just felt relaxed. Her body language was lovely. She was leaning in, and all the things I taught her just kind of came to life in that moment. And because they hit it off, they actually ended up dating. Now, it was a little bit of a long distance thing. He was up in the Bay Area where she lived, and they were doing a dance for a while. And it was just kind of this beautiful little situationship, I will say. And so while he wasn't the long term guy, it was such a great exercise for her because in the end, she ended up, after, coaching together and dating guys after that, really like working on herself and meeting people out in the wild, she gets reacquainted with her ex that she broke up with years, prior to me working with her. And she was at a Halloween party and she was all dressed up and they kind of like reignited something. They both had done work on themselves and they were both in a better place. And they end up together today. I share that story because there was like, again, this is all a domino effect. Like once you start exercising the social muscle and getting comfortable meeting people in real life, so much magic happens. Opportunities get created everywhere you go. And it's like rolling moss. It just kind of collects on each other. And you just become more comfortable back into like that social person that either you once were or maybe never have been. Meeting people in real life can happen and will happen, but it takes intention, it takes optimism, and it takes exercising that social muscle. So it's so important to see this because when you start looking at the world as your playground, full of laughter, opportunities, connections, play dates, just like kids do, rather than it's a jungle out there. There's like scary bears and lions and tigers and, awful people out there. And there's no one my age and I'm too old for this stuff, right? It's, again, looking at the world more in a positive light with opportunity rather than in a negative darkness that has that scarcity mindset. It will be so much more fun. And you'll see opportunities everywhere you go, just like kids. And I know what you're thinking, Kimmy, this all sounds great. And you make it sound so easy, but I'm too old for this stuff. I don't like going to the bars. I don't even like drinking. Those days are gone. And I'm more of an introvert, to be honest. And so it all sounds so draining, forcing myself to get out there and make small talk. I don't even have other single friends to go out with. And I totally get that. Okay. I believe that you are too old to mingle and that you are exhausted. And as long as you believe that, then it will be true and you will stay feeling this same way for a very long time until you decide to switch that. Because what if you changed your mindset around all of this and just started talking to people to create opportunities to build your muscles and social circle? You might be making this all too complex and are compartmentalizing your dating life with this like high expectation. Like you're looking at your phone and you're saying, no, it's time to date. But dating is just a way of life. It's an energy that should be carried with you every moment of your day. So, what if you just got back to basics and said hi? Oh my God, what a concept, right? Just say hi to people in line at the grocery store or just, wherever you go. Meeting people in real life can happen and will happen, but it does take intention, optimism, and exercising that social muscle. So, today I want to give you some quick tips around how to take a more active role in finding romance in the wild. I've been talking about this for ages, even before this got kind of popular. I mean, right now, it is a very popular thing to meet people in the wild, but I have been preaching this, teaching this from the dawn of time. All right. So, get your pencil and paper, and I want to just run down a few key things that I teach my clients, and hopefully you can learn this and start practicing this too. All right. The first one is keep an open mind. You hear me talk about this a lot. When it comes to flirting and mingling, your goal should not be to walk in a room and identify someone who seems like your type and funnel all your energy into catching that one person's attention. In fact, it should be the opposite. When you're too target specific, you close off way too much. And then guess what happens? You shut it down. You don't do it at all. You're like, oh, there's no one here for me. Or you might see someone and then you get really nervous or anxious about it. So instead, just focus on chatting with a few people, no matter who they are, and build a hub of positive energy from there. And also, it'll expand the opportunities. The more people in your social network, the more you'll be able to branch out. All right. Number two, maintain an open body language. I know I talk about this all the time. But again, like the more times you hear this, hopefully it'll start ingraining in your system and you'll start embodying it. I mean, whether you're eating at a cafe, relaxing at a bar, or waiting in line at the grocery store, certain nonverbal cues will stop a potential conversation starter in his or her tracks. Like if you don't have that initial contact with your eyes, a smile, a positive energy, then, conversation just won't happen. You'll look like you don't want to be talked to. So it's not even the conversation itself. Remember, 93% of communication is nonverbal. So it's not what you say that's important, it's how you come across. So to appear more approachable, put your phone away. remove the headphones or those things in your ears, straighten your back, uncross your arms, relax the muscles in your face. You can even pick a low pressure place to practice this. And you could go to a restaurant during lunchtime and you'll have the entertainment that comes with just people watching, first of all, and that encourages you to get your nose out of your phone, along with just that casualness that comes with the daytime rush. So it won't feel like it's so, oh my God, now I'm going to the bar and flirting. Okay. Number three, position yourself strategically. Positioning is everything. I mean, don't be like you and a cat, like a bunch of women in the corner of a restaurant talking about how much men suck. Like that is not a good idea, and men will not approach you. So you got to be open. You got to like use observation. In addition to welcoming new people and possibilities, it's important to position yourself in a place where promising interactions are likely to happen. So if the entire bar is open, find a seat in the middle or at the corner. Don't like just go where there's empty seats. You really have to put some intentionality around it. It's, because if you're in the middle, it's like the epicenter of the bar. And the bartender is usually right in front of you, and everyone else is to your left and your right. And plus, the bartenders know everybody. They are almost like the matchmakers of the restaurant. So you really want to even just get to know the bartender because they could literally be your matchmaker. And at parties and events, finding a home base, say, the food and the drinks, or maybe it's like a seat by the couch with a few friends. Place yourself there and then people will come to you. So if you don't like kind of the moving target element where you're like roaming around and then trying to force yourself to talk to people, just stay put somewhere because eventually people are just going to come around you and you just, again, have to have patience. All right, number four, I just said it before. Just say hi. Oh, I know. This like sounds so scary. So I have a formula that I teach all my clients. I think I alluded to this before. It's called the social engagement formula. And I don't have time to go into it right now. But what I will say is when I teach just that initiation piece, the first thing you do is just kind of take in your surroundings, observe who's in the room, see, just see how like you can connect with someone and who also appears open to talking to you. Get curious and just say hi, ask a question, make a statement. That kind of state of curiosity is beautiful. That's what kids do, right? Like they don't think too much before they're about to talk to someone. They don't say, oh, I don't want to bother little Johnny, or little Dylan. Like they'll just say, hi, what are you doing, want to play? And if you get into that kind of energy, that kid energy, I swear it works every single time. And make eye contact, make sure that you have that initial like smile and eye contact that kind of seems like you're approachable and friendly, and then just say hi. I mean, even if you have nothing else to say, just the point of saying hi. I've done this so many times when I'm coaching in the field with people, that just breaks the ice right there. And finally, you really work on engaging a conversation that has more meaning to it, more connection, more kind of personal touch. If you stay in your head and you're worried about what other people think or feel, that prevents you from even asking a question or saying hi. So when you're present, that's where the magic happens. All right. Number five is share a piece of yourself. So many of you are just keeping it so surface level. You're talking about the weather. You're talking about just subjects that like you could look on the internet for or do a LinkedIn exchange about. Once you initiate that conversation, keep it going by asking meaningful questions and offering a personal answer. Like move away from that surface level stuff and go into like a person's journey. So you can ask questions like, what brings you here? Or are you from this area? And, you know, tell me about your favorite da 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 da, like share your journey and have them share theirs. And that's where you can connect with somebody in 30 seconds. I swear, like if you move from the topic that you're talking about, I'll never forget there was a woman that we were at the farmer's market with. I think I told the story before, but it just occurred to me it's perfect as I'm sharing this tip. And it was like these guys who were selling avocados. So obviously, talking about the avocados was a great like initiator because she used observations. She's got curious about the avocado and asked them where they are grown. So great. So she's asking about the avocados and she's talking about the avocados. And I'm watching my watch and like 2 minutes go by, 4 minutes go by, 6 minutes go by. She's still talking about the avocados and she comes back and she was all smiles and she's like, so that was good. That lasted about 6 minutes. And I said, well, yeah, I mean, that was great initiation, but what did he learn about you and what did you learn about him? And she just kind of looked at me and she's like, nothing. And I said, yeah, that's because you didn't get personal. You just stayed on the avocado. So really be careful of that because that's what makes conversations die. All right. And number 6, hang out with a group of friends that lift you up, that are positive, that are not negative Nellies or Debbie Downers. You probably already heard the adage that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But when you're looking to meet new people, this saying is definitely true. Like, no matter how much you practice open body language and inviting strangers into your conversation, if you spend the entire night in a closed off group, a negative group, no one will ever try to break it in. And you'll leak of negativity. You'll reek of negativity. And then you won't invite that kind of positive energy and definitely not that flirty energy. Okay, so and once you get good at these steps, what I tell everybody that I work with, just then you can try upping the ante and flirt. But most of you listening to this aren't even getting to the point of hello. So let go of the flirt for now and just get used to talking to people. I know it's a really weird concept. And then after that, you could turn up the flirt dial or come to one of my workshops to learn how. Because, flirting while mingling will help transform your dating experience. Because if you just hover in the friend zone, you won't get to the flirt zone. And that's what will make or break somebody like seeing you as dateable. And that will boost your confidence and create more dating opportunities overall. All right, I want to read a letter that I got that highlights all this. So, this is from Stephanie, and she says, I'm shy and introverted and was in a 22-year relationship with someone who passed away last year. And I haven't dated in over 25 years, and I have no clue what to do or how to meet potential dates. In fact, I'm not really sure I ever dated just for the sake of dating. And I have had mostly just relationships. I don't like dating apps. I really do want to meet people and make friends and have fun. Help. Oh, Stephanie. I mean, first off, I'm so sorry for your loss, and it must feel really foreign and daunting to put yourself out there again. And you're entering a whole new world. I mean, not only has the dating landscape changed, but so have you. And the fact that you haven't ever really dated for the sake of dating will be a new skill set that will, I mean, it's going to require some practice and you have to be very intentional. And it can be a lot of fun. I promise. And I love that you said that you want to have fun and make friends and meet new people. And that is exactly where to start. But the truth is, gone are the days where you had that infrastructure of your social life when you were young, maybe in college or in a work setting with single people. You have to be intentional. You have to put yourself out there and do things that probably feel really uncomfortable right now. So, I recommend first just creating a list of hobbies and passions that you might be interested in and start researching just different things, different venues, classes and that allow you to meet new people in your area of interest with like-minded people. I mean, don't worry at first whether people are single or not. The point is you just want to start networking and build opportunities for your social life. And you never know who you might meet. Second, just flirt and have fun with everyone. Like you need to practice just really exercising that muscle. Practice flirting by smiling, making eye contact with people everywhere you go. I know as a shy person that might feel hard, but just start by being aware of people and connect with your eyes and the smile. And you'll be amazed at how even just that will help you meet people by being more open. And finally, your mindset should be that you are on that playground that I talked about, that you are not like going out there to find a boyfriend or to get married. You're out there to just have a bunch of play dates. You're building skills to gain confidence and feel more connected socially. And I promise just those kind of things and that focus will be way less overwhelming than thinking about, oh, I have to go out and date now. Like that's too much. Just start here and you got this. It'll be way less overwhelming thinking of this about being more of like a social experiment versus dating to get a boyfriend. And you listening to this, if you hear some similarities with this scenario, try incorporating some of these tips and see how this can build your dating confidence overall. You have the right to see dating as fun, and this is your time in your life to do so by just practicing meeting people in real life, IRL. Meeting people in real life can happen, and it will happen, but it does take that intention, the optimism, and exercising the social muscle. Well, I hope that was helpful and inspirational. Thanks for joining me. As always, this has been the Charisma Quotient. I'm your host, of course, Kimmy Seltzer. And remember, you can build confidence, make connections, and find love from the outside in. And make sure you go to my site. I have so many things coming up, kimmyseltzer.com. And if you struggle to put yourself out there and you want to date, you're sick of the dating apps, please come to my co-ed interactive workshop. It's called The Art of Meeting People IRL. I couldn't get more direct than that. And it's, depending on when you're listening to this, August 28th in this cycle that I'm in. And I'm going to give you the best tips for confidently navigating the social scene without anxiety, without that uncertainty. So just click the link you see in the show notes and register, or just go to stophatingdating.com, stophatingdating.com. It's interactive. We have so much fun. And for those of you listening to my podcast and I've never seen you IRL, well, at least in 2D form, this is a chance to really see each other. I mean, if you're just this passenger listening to the podcast for a long time, start taking action. I would love to interact with you. That's when things will start shifting. And that's why, when you hear all my success stories, those are the people who started with a workshop or started, with a phone call. And that leads me to the next thing. If you are ready to jump and you want to even practice this more, here's the thing. I have another retreat coming up. It's called Dating IRL. It's all about in real life. It's October. Okay. I am more than half full. So if you are interested in this and you really want to learn how to meet people IRL, then hop on a call with me. Click the link you see in the show notes, or you can even go to askkimmy.com and inquire about it. I'd love to hop on a call and share to see if, this could be a fit for you. Because remember, working on you is working on your dating life. All right, that's all for now. Hey, everyone. This is the Charisma Quotient. I'm your host, Kim Seltzer, a dating and makeover expert, where I will help you build confidence, make connections, and find love from the outside in.